If you want to enter the freeway but you don't see a gap in traffic, you should A. Maintain your speed and force the other drivers to create a gap. B. Slow down on the ramp to wait for a gap. C. Stop at the end of the ramp to wait for a gap. B. Slow down on the ramp to wait for a gap. If you want to enter the freeway but do not see a space for your vehicle in traffic, slow down on the ramp to wait for a gap. Do not drive to the end of the ramp and wait for a gap, or you will not have enough room to accelerate to the speed of traffic before entering the roadway. This sign shows one type of A. Intersection. B. Road curve. C. Right turn. A. Intersection. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. They alert you to conditions that are immediately ahead. This sign warns drivers that another road crosses the highway ahead. This road sign means A. When pavement is wet, reduce your speed. B. The road ahead winds in a series of turns or curves. C. Traffic increases ahead. A. When pavement is wet, reduce your speed. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns drivers that the roadway will be slippery when wet and they should reduce their speed accordingly. Which of the following road surfaces freezes first? A. A tunnel. B. An intersection. C. A bridge. C. A bridge. Pavement on bridges and overpasses can become icy even when other surrounding pavement is dry. Bridges often freeze before, and thaw out after, the rest of a road.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
What is the only effective way to remove alcohol from the body? A. Drink strong coffee. B. Wait. C. Take a cold shower. B. Wait. The only way to remove the effects of alcohol from the body is to let time pass. Eating, drinking coffee, or taking a shower will not speed up this process. To pass on a two-lane road, you should A. Sound your horn as you pass. B. Flash your headlights as you pass. C. Judge the distance to any oncoming vehicles. C. Judge the distance to any oncoming vehicles. It can be hard to judge the speed of oncoming vehicles. They do not always seem to be coming as fast as they really are. Always be sure you can safely change lanes when passing on a two-lane street. If you are not sure of an oncoming vehicle's speed, wait to pass until the oncoming vehicle has passed and you are sure there is enough space for you to change lanes safely. What message will be found on this yellow pennant-shaped sign? A. Right turns only. B. Right turns permitted. C. No passing zone. C. No passing zone. Pennant-shaped yellow signs like this are used to indicate a no passing zone. A driver should A. Stare directly in front of their car. B. Only focus on the middle of the road. C. Watch beside, ahead, and to the rear of their car. C. Watch beside, ahead, and to the rear of their car. A driver should watch beside, ahead, and to the rear of their car. To be a good driver, You must know what is happening all around your vehicle. Who is required to wear a safety belt in a moving vehicle? A. Just the driver. B. Only children. C. All of the vehicle's occupants. C. All of the vehicle's occupants. Under Wyoming law, a safety belt must be worn by all occupants of a moving vehicle, including the driver. It is the driver's responsibility to see that this law is obeyed. Children must be properly restrained in appropriate child restraint systems. This sign indicates that the road ahead: A. Turns sharply right, then left. B. Curves right, then left. C. Curves right. B. Curves right, then left. This sign warns of a reverse curve in which the road curves to the right, then to the left. This sign means: A. Curves ahead. B. Divided highway starts. C. Divided highway ends. C. Divided highway ends. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns that the divided highway ends ahead. Prepare to change lanes or shift lane position. If it is necessary to make an emergency stop while driving on an interstate, you should: A. Sound your horn at passing cars to get their attention. B. Get out of your vehicle and flag down the first vehicle that passes. C. Pull off the road, turn on your emergency flashers, and stay in your vehicle, if you can. C. Pull off the road, turn on your emergency flashers, and stay in your vehicle, if you can. If you must stop on the shoulder of the interstate or highway, turn on your emergency flashers to warn other drivers and stay inside your vehicle, if you can. The extremely high speed of traffic makes standing or walking along an interstate highway very dangerous. Alcohol in any concentration is: A. A stimulant. B. A depressant. C. Neither of the above. B. A depressant. Alcohol, in any concentration, is a depressant. It slows all nerve impulses and bodily functions, resulting in a lessening of inhibitions and negatively affecting a consumer's ability to concentrate and stay alert. A driver should: A. Assume all drivers automatically obey the right-of-way rules. B. Assume most drivers obey the right-of-way rules. C. Always be prepared to yield the right-of-way. C. Always be prepared to yield the right-of-way. Although the right-of-way rules provide a guide to determine who should yield the right-of-way at an intersection, no one should assume they automatically have the right-of-way. The situation and circumstances at an intersection must always be considered. Drivers should yield their legal right-of-way if it can help prevent a collision. Which statement is true? A. You should put on your cruise control near a railroad crossing to maintain a constant speed. B. You must stop at a railroad crossing when directed to do so by a flagger or stop sign. C. You have the right-of-way at a railroad crossing and do not need to stop. B. You must stop at a railroad crossing when directed to do so by a flagger or stop sign. You must stop at a railroad crossing when directed to do so by a flagger, stop sign, or warning signal. Use caution when driving near railroad tracks. Various traffic control devices in construction and maintenance work areas are the color A. Red, B. Orange, C. Yellow, B. Orange. Orange warning signs are used in and around work zones. Use special caution when you see orange signs, cones, or barriers on a roadway. You are on the freeway and traffic is merging into your lane. You should A. Make room for the merging traffic, if possible. B. Assert your right-of-way by driving faster. C. Always maintain your position. A. Make room for the merging traffic, if possible. When traffic permits, you should make room to allow vehicles to merge into your lane. Always stop before crossing railroad tracks when A. There isn't room on the other side for you to completely cross the tracks. B. The railroad crossing is located in a city or town that has frequent train traffic. C. You are transporting 2 or more young children in a passenger vehicle. A. There isn't room on the other side for you to completely cross the tracks. Expect a train on any track, at any time, traveling in either direction. If you need to stop after crossing the tracks, wait until you can completely cross the tracks before proceeding. Make sure your vehicle clears the tracks before you stop. This sign means A. Stop sign ahead. B. Railroad crossing ahead. C. Construction ahead. B. Railroad crossing ahead. A round sign always indicates that you are approaching a railroad crossing. If bad weather makes it difficult for you to see clearly, you should A. Speed up to get off the road quickly. B. Drive in the lane closest to oncoming traffic. C. Increase your following distance. C. Increase your following distance. When it is difficult to see due to darkness or poor weather, increase your following distance. This will give you more time to react to hazards that you may not see in advance. A distraction when driving is A. Anything that causes evasive action while driving. B. Anything that takes your attention away from driving. C. Anything that causes you to pay more attention to driving. B. Anything that takes your attention away from driving. A distraction when driving is anything that takes your attention away from driving. Driver distractions may occur anytime and anywhere. Distracted driving can cause collisions, resulting in property damage, injury, and death. This sign means A. You are approaching the end of a divided highway. B. You are approaching the beginning of a divided highway. C. The road will be slippery ahead. B. You are approaching the beginning of a divided highway. This sign indicates that a divided highway begins ahead. Keep to the right of the median divider. Only fill in the blank can lower blood alcohol concentration, BAC, and reduce alcohol's effects on a body. A. Drinking caffeine. B. Eating foods high in fat. C. Time. C. Time. The only way to sober up after drinking alcohol is to allow time for your body to eliminate the alcohol in your system. Nothing you can do, including eating and drinking, can accelerate this process. If you see orange construction signs and cones on a freeway, you must A. Slow down because the lane ends ahead. B. Be prepared for workers and equipment ahead. C. Change lanes and maintain your current speed. B. Be prepared for workers and equipment ahead. As you enter a work zone, signs and message boards will warn you of workers, slow-moving equipment, and/or closed lanes ahead. You should reduce your speed and be prepared to slow down or stop. If you find yourself in a skid, A. Brake lightly. B. Stay off the brakes. C. Brake abruptly. B. Stay off the brakes. If your vehicle begins to skid, do not use the brakes. Braking could make the skid worse. You exit the freeway on a ramp that curves downhill. You should A. Slow to a safe speed before the curve. B. Slow to the posted speed limit for the freeway. C. Wait until you have entered the curve to begin braking. A. Slow to a safe speed before the curve. You should always slow down before entering a curve. You may not be able to see hazards ahead, and braking in a curve may cause your vehicle to skid. Bicycles on the road, A. Are considered vehicles with the same rights and responsibilities as motor vehicles. B. Do not follow specific rules of the road. C. Must always yield the right of way to motor vehicles. A. Are considered vehicles with the same rights and responsibilities as motor vehicles. Bicycles on the road are vehicles with the same rights and responsibilities as motor vehicles. Motorists should respect the rights of bicyclists. When should you yield your legal right of way? A. Often, even at controlled intersections. B. Whenever it helps prevent collisions. C. Never. It confuses other drivers. B. Whenever it helps prevent collisions. Never assume other drivers will give you the right of way. Yield your right of way whenever it helps prevent collisions. Which of the following driving skills are affected by the use of alcohol and/or drugs? A. Alertness. B. Coordination. C. Both of the above. C. Both of the above. Alcohol and other drugs can negatively affect a number of skills needed for safe driving, including a driver's reaction time, coordination, alertness, and ability to concentrate. This yellow sign means A. There is a sharp turn to the right. B. The lane must turn right. C. A right turn is permitted on a green arrow only. A. There is a sharp turn to the right. Some warning signs have a fluorescent yellow-green background. These signs warn of upcoming conditions, including roads with curves and sharp turns. Which of the following statements about driving speed is true? A. As your speed increases, the chance of a fatality increases. B. As your speed increases, so should your following distance. C. Both of the above. C. Both of the above. As driving speeds increase, the chance of a fatality in the case of a collision increases. If you are going faster than 80 miles per hour, you have almost no chance of living through a crash. The speed you drive affects your stopping distance, so you should increase your following distance as you increase your speed. This sign means A. Reserved parking for persons with disabilities. B. Slow-moving vehicle. C. No U-turn. A. Reserved parking for persons with disabilities. This sign indicates parking spaces that are reserved for vehicles displaying persons with disabilities license plates, disabled veteran license plates, and/or disabled parking placards. If you approach a flashing red traffic light, you A. Are traveling in the wrong direction. B. Must treat the intersection as if it is controlled by a stop sign. C. May not proceed until it changes to green. B. Must treat the intersection as if it is controlled by a stop sign. Treat a flashing red light the same as a stop sign. Come to a complete stop at the stop line or, if there is no stop line, prior to the crosswalk and before entering the intersection. Yield to all other traffic and pedestrians. If oncoming headlights are blinding you while you are driving at night, you should A. Look toward the right edge of the road. B. Switch your lights to high beams. C. Turn your lights on and off. A. Look toward the right edge of the road. If the headlights of an oncoming vehicle are blinding, glance toward the right edge of the road instead of looking directly ahead. This should keep your vehicle safely on the road until you pass the oncoming vehicle. When driving in fog, rain, or snow, use A. Low beams. B. High beams. C. Fog lights only. A. Low beams. Low beam headlights should be used in fog, rain, and snow. The light from high beams will reflect back to the driver under these weather conditions, causing a glare that will make it difficult to see ahead. Before backing your vehicle, you should A. Walk completely around the vehicle to be sure no person or obstacle is behind it. B. Rev your engine. C. Flash your high beam headlights. A. Walk completely around the vehicle to be sure no person or obstacle is behind it. Before driving in reverse, you should walk completely around your vehicle to make sure no person or obstacle is behind it. Look over your shoulder and out the rear window when backing. Do not depend only on your mirrors. To avoid hydroplaning while driving in rainy conditions, you should A. Drive at a speed appropriate for ideal conditions. B. Apply your brakes as soon as your car starts to skid. C. Slow down. C. Slow down. When driving too quickly in wet conditions, your tires may lose all contact with the road surface. Loss of traction will cause the vehicle to ride on top of the water, which is called hydroplaning. The best way to prevent this from happening is to drive more slowly in rainy or wet conditions than you would when driving during ideal weather conditions. You are approaching an intersection where a traffic signal is displaying a steady yellow light. If you have not already entered the intersection, you should A. Speed up to beat the red light. B. Reduce your speed and proceed carefully through the intersection. C. Come to a safe stop. C. Come to a safe stop. At an intersection controlled by a steady yellow light, you should bring your vehicle to a safe stop. If you are already within the intersection when the light changes from green to yellow, continue through the intersection at a safe speed. You may not park within. Fill in the blank. of a fire hydrant? A. 25 feet. B. 15 feet. C. 30 feet. B. 15 feet. Drivers should not park within 15 feet of a fire hydrant. Drivers should only park where it is legal to do so and where other drivers can clearly see their stopped vehicle. Roads with double solid yellow line markings down the center indicate that passing is A. allowed from both directions. B. allowed only from your direction of travel. C. not allowed from either direction. C. not allowed from either direction. A double solid yellow line down the center of a road indicates that traffic is moving in opposite directions and that passing is not allowed from either direction. If you miss your exit on the freeway, you should not A. continue on the freeway and find an alternate route to your destination. B. proceed to the next exit, leave the freeway, and return to your proper exit. C. back up on the road or shoulder. C. back up on the road or shoulder. If you miss your turn or exit, do not back up in the travel lane or on the shoulder. Continue to drive to the next exit or crossroad. Drivers do not expect a vehicle to be backing toward them on the roadway, and doing so will likely cause a collision. This road sign means A. no right turn. B. no U-turns. C. no left turn. A. no right turn. Regulatory signs provide notice to road users of traffic laws and must be obeyed. Where this sign is posted, making a right turn is prohibited. Your license can be suspended if you are under 21 and drive with a blood alcohol level of A. 0.15% or more. B. 0.08% or more. C. any amount. C. any amount. There is zero tolerance for alcohol use by drivers under age 21. If you are under 21, the detection of any trace of alcohol in your system will result in stiff penalties, including the suspension of your license for 2 years. When approaching a curve in the roadway, drivers should slow down. A. before entering the curve. B. after completing the curve. C. in the middle of the curve. A. before entering the curve. Adjust your speed before entering a curve. Driving too fast around a curve can cause your tires to lose contact with the road. When stopped at a red traffic light with a green arrow, you may proceed in the direction of the arrow if you A. first come to a complete stop. B. wait until the light changes. C. are in the proper lane and the intersection is clear. C. are in the proper lane and the intersection is clear. You may proceed in the direction that a green arrow signal is pointing if you are in the proper lane, regardless of any other signals that are displayed. Before turning, you must yield the right of way to pedestrians and vehicles already within the intersection. Children on bicycles should be given extra space by motor vehicle operators because A. they do not have the same physical reflexes as adults. B. they are smaller and more difficult to see than adults. C. both of the above. C. both of the above. Children are often the least predictable pedestrians and the most difficult pedestrians to see. Take extra care to look out for children, especially near schools, bus stops, playgrounds, parks, and ice cream trucks. Be aware of children riding bikes on the sidewalk, as they may come onto the road unexpectedly. When driving in winter weather, maintain a following distance of at least A. 2 seconds, B. 3 seconds, C. 4 seconds, C. 4 seconds. When driving in winter weather, maintain a following distance of at least 4 seconds. Watch the car in front of you pass a landmark, then start counting. If your car reaches the same landmark before you count to 4, you are following too closely. A vehicle suddenly cuts in front of you, creating a hazard. What should you do first? A. Honk and step on the brake firmly. B. Take your foot off the gas pedal. C. Swerve into the lane next to you. B. Take your foot off the gas pedal. If a vehicle merges in front of you too closely, take your foot off of the accelerator. This will create space between you and the vehicle ahead without requiring you to slam on your brakes or swerve into another lane. A broken yellow line between two lanes of traffic means A. Both lanes of traffic are going in the same direction. B. Passing is permitted when it's safe. C. Passing is not permitted. B. Passing is permitted when it's safe. Dashed yellow lines separate single lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions. Passing is allowed when there is no oncoming traffic in the passing lane. When you are merging onto the freeway, you should be driving A. At or near the speed of traffic on the freeway. B. 5 to 10 miles per hour slower than the speed of traffic on the freeway. C. The posted speed limit for freeway traffic. A. At or near the speed of traffic on the freeway. When merging onto a freeway, you should enter at or near the speed of traffic.